They laughed when the poor single dad raised his hand at the school auction. Some people smiled, some whispered. One woman actually snorted. No one stopped laughing when he said the number out loud. They stopped when he said it again. Before we continue, take a moment to like this video if you enjoy slow, human stories like this. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And if these quiet, emotional stories matter to you, subscribe and stay with us. Now, let's go back to that room. The gym smelled like floor polish and old banners. Folding chairs lined the walls, and a borrowed chandelier hung too low in the center, trying to make the place feel important. Parents in pressed jackets and dresses clustered near the silent auction tables, sipping wine from plastic cups and talking too loudly about real estate and travel. Ethan Hale stood near the back, his jacket a size too big, his hands folded behind him so no one would notice how rough they were. He had fixed a burst pipe before coming. He hadn't had time to change properly. He was there because his daughter had begged him. "Please," Lily had said, clutching his arm that morning, "everyone's parents will be there." Ethan had smiled and nodded, the way he always did when he didn't know how to say no. The school auction was supposed to raise money for a new arts wing. Paintings by students lined one wall. Gift baskets sat on tables wrapped in cellophane and ribbon. A few bigger items stood out: a weekend at a lake house, courtside tickets, a private dinner with a local celebrity chef. Ethan didn't look at any of that. He looked at the small wooden plaque mounted on an easel near the stage. It wasn't flashy, just a rectangle of dark oak with a brass plate. "Library naming rights," the plate read. Under it, smaller letters explained that the donor would have the school library named in honor of a person of their choosing. The previous library had been closed years ago. Budget cuts. The room now held storage boxes and broken desks. Ethan swallowed. The principal stepped up to the microphone. Applause followed, polite and practiced. "As many of you know," she said, smiling brightly, "tonight we have some truly special items. We're grateful for our generous community." Her eyes skimmed the room and slid past Ethan without stopping. The bidding started light. Gift baskets, vacation packages. People raised their paddles casually, like it was a game. Laughter floated easily. Ethan stayed still. When the auctioneer announced the library naming rights, the room quieted. This was a bigger moment. People leaned forward. "Starting bid," the auctioneer said, $100,000. A paddle went up immediately, then another. The numbers climbed fast. 200, 3, 5. Ethan felt his heart beat harder, but his face stayed calm. The room buzzed with excitement. This was what people came for, to be seen giving. At 1 million, several paddles dropped. At 2 million, only 3 remained. Ethan watched them. A real estate developer, a tech founder, a woman known for hosting charity galas that doubled as social events. At 5 million, the tech founder bowed out. 4 million, 5. The woman smiled thinly as she raised her paddle again. $5 million, the auctioneer called. "Do I hear 6? Ethan lifted his hand. It wasn't a paddle. He hadn't picked one up. He just raised his hand. The auctioneer hesitated. "Sir," he said carefully, "you'll need a paddle." "I'm bidding," Ethan said. The room turned. Someone laughed. A man near the front leaned back and whispered something to his wife. Her mouth covered, eyes darting to Ethan's shoes. The auctioneer cleared his throat. "Sir, the current bid is $5 million. "I know," Ethan said. 10 million. The laughter came louder this time. It wasn't cruel at first. It was amused, disbelieving, like when someone tells a joke that goes a step too far. $10 million, the auctioneer repeated, uncertain. The woman with the thin smile stared at Ethan. Her smile faded. "Is this a joke?" she said, not bothering to lower her voice. Ethan didn't look at her. He looked at the plaque. The principal stepped forward, her expression tight. "Sir, perhaps there's been a misunderstanding."
"No," Ethan said, "there hasn't." The room shifted. The laughter died unevenly. $10 million, the auctioneer said again, slower this time. Silence followed. The woman scoffed. "This is inappropriate," she said. "Some of us are actually here to donate." A few people nodded. Ethan finally turned his head. "I am donating," he said. Someone muttered, "With what?" Ethan ignored it. The auctioneer looked helplessly towards the principal. "Sir," she said, forcing a smile, "we'll need to verify." "Yes," Ethan said, "after." There was a pause, long enough for discomfort to settle. "Any higher bids?" the auctioneer asked. No one moved. $10 million, he said. "Going once? Going twice?" The woman's face flushed. She lifted her paddle, then lowered it again. "Sold," the auctioneer said. "To, sir, your name?" "Ethan Hale." Applause started late and uneven. Some people clapped because they thought they should. Others didn't clap at all. Ethan lowered his hand. Across the gym, Lily stood with her friends, eyes wide, hands pressed to her mouth. Ethan didn't look at her yet. He stayed where he was, breathing slowly, as if he'd just finished a long climb and needed a moment before moving again. The principal approached him, voice low. "We'll need to speak privately." "Yes," Ethan said. "I expected that." As they walked towards the side door, whispers followed them like a draft. "That can't be real. Who is he? Someone should stop this." Ethan heard it all. He kept walking. Because the money was real, and the reason he was there was older than anyone in that room knew.
The hallway outside the gym was narrow and smelled faintly of cleaning supplies. Ethan followed the principal without speaking, his footsteps steady, unhurried. She stopped near a small office used for storing sports equipment and closed the door behind them. "I need to be clear," she said, folding her hands together. "If this is a misunderstanding, we can still correct it without embarrassment." Ethan nodded once. "I understand." She looked at him closely now, not as a parent in the crowd, but as someone trying to solve a problem before it became one. "You don't appear on our donor lists," she said, "and $10 million is not a casual pledge." "It's not casual," Ethan replied. "Then I'll have to ask," she said carefully, "where is this money coming from?" Ethan reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his phone. The screen was cracked at one corner. He unlocked it and opened an email. He held it out to her. She hesitated, then took the phone. Her eyes moved slowly as she read, once, then again. Her expression changed, but not all at once. First confusion, then recognition, then something like shock. "Oh," she said quietly. "Yes," Ethan said. She handed the phone back, her hands unsteady. "I had no idea. Most people don't." She cleared her throat. "We'll need documentation, of course. Our legal team—" "They already have it. The funds cleared this morning." The principal leaned back against the desk as if she needed support. "You planned this?" "Yes." "Why tonight?" Ethan thought of Lily's face that morning, the way she'd asked without asking. Because this was the night it mattered. They returned to the gym together. The room fell quiet as they entered. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. People turned openly now, no longer pretending not to stare. The principal stepped onto the stage and took the microphone again. Her voice trembled slightly before steadying. "I want to clarify something," she said. "The bid placed moments ago has been verified. The donation is legitimate." A ripple moved through the room, surprise, disbelief, recalculation. Ethan stood near the wall. He didn't look around. He didn't need to. The woman who had scoffed earlier stared at him, her mouth slightly open.
Someone whispered her name, but she didn't respond. The principal continued, "The library will be named according to Mr. Hale's wishes. We are deeply grateful." Applause followed, this time louder, more confident. Some people smiled at Ethan as if they had known him all along. He did not smile back. Lily broke away from her friends and ran to him, throwing her arms around his waist. "Dad," she whispered, her voice shaking. He held her carefully. "You okay?" She nodded hard. "Everyone's looking at you." "That's all right," he said. She pulled back and searched his face. "Are you rich?" Ethan huffed softly. "No." She frowned. "But the money." "I had help, a long time ago." People approached them, parents he barely recognized, teachers who had never learned his name. "Mr. Hale, incredible gesture. So generous. Such a surprise." Ethan answered politely, briefly. He noticed who didn't come over. The woman earlier stood with a group near the auction table, her posture stiff. When their eyes met, she looked away. Later, after the gym emptied and chairs were folded, Ethan and Lily sat on the steps outside. The night air was cool, the sky clear. "Why the library?" Lily asked. Ethan looked at the building. "Because you asked once why it was locked." "I did?" "You were 6. You wanted books." She swung her legs. "I still do." "So do other kids," he said. She leaned against him. "People were mean before." "Yes." "They weren't after." "No." "Why?" Ethan took a breath. "Because money changes how people listen." She was quiet for a long moment. "That's dumb." "It is." The next week, the story spread. Not loudly, not nationally, just enough. A poor single dad surprises school auction with massive bid. Headlines softened the edges. People filled blanks with assumptions. Ethan returned to work. Pipes still burst, lights still flickered, but things were different. The property manager asked him into the office one afternoon. "I didn't know about your situation." "My situation hasn't changed," Ethan replied. "Well," he shifted, "if you're ever interested in something less physical—" "No," Ethan said. The man nodded, embarrassed. "Of course." At school, teachers smiled more at Lily. She noticed. "I liked it better before," she said one evening. "Before what?" "Before they acted like I mattered more." Ethan sat beside her. "You always mattered." "I know." One afternoon, a letter arrived at their apartment, thick envelope, heavy paper. It was from a private foundation. Inside was an invitation, a meeting request, questions. Ethan set it aside. That night he dreamed of his father, not as he was at the end, but earlier, in a library, sitting at a table with a book open between them. Read. That's how you leave a place without walking out. Ethan awoke before dawn, heart steady. He knew the donation would change things. It already had. But the thing he couldn't predict was how people would look at him now, not with laughter, but with expectation. And expectation, he knew, could be heavier than judgment.
Ethan did not attend the meeting right away. The envelope stayed on the kitchen counter for 3 days, unopened again, as if it might move on its own. Lily noticed it the second evening while eating cereal for dinner. "What's that?" she asked, spoon hovering. "Paper," Ethan said. She squinted at him. "You're bad at lying." He sighed. "It's an invitation." "To what?" "To talk." She waited. "With people who want to know why I did what I did," he said.
Lily considered this. Are you going? Eventually. Do you have to? No. Then don't, she said, as if the solution were obvious. Ethan smiled. It's not that simple. Why not? He searched for words that wouldn't bend under their own weight. Because when you give something big, people think they're allowed to ask for more. She frowned. That doesn't seem fair. It isn't. At work the next day, the city felt sharper. People recognized him, or thought they did. A man at the hardware store stared too long. A woman at the bus stop whispered his name like a question. He kept his head down. But the silence didn't last. A week later, the principal called. Her voice was warm but careful. The foundation would like to tour the school, she said. They want to make sure the funds are being used responsibly. That's fine, Ethan said. And they'd like you to be there. Ethan hesitated. Is that necessary? It would mean a lot, she said. To them. And to you? He asked. A pause. Yes. He agreed. The tour happened on a Friday afternoon. The library was still unfinished. Bare walls, dust on the floor, shelves waiting to be filled. 3 people arrived in tailored coats, 2 men, 1 woman, all polite, all observant. They shook Ethan's hand as if testing something invisible. You've remained remarkably private, she said, glancing around, for someone who could easily attract attention. I prefer quiet, he replied. Quiet doesn't build legacies, one of the men said, smiling thinly. Ethan said nothing. They asked questions about his past, about his intentions, about future involvement. He answered carefully, honestly, but not fully. You've given a transformative gift, the woman said at last. We'd like to understand your long-term vision. There is no long-term vision. There's a library. They exchanged looks. That kind of humility is admirable, but unrealistic. Ethan met his eyes. It's realistic if you mean what you give. The tour ended politely. The following Monday, Ethan received another letter, this one shorter. The foundation wanted to offer him a position, advisory, public-facing, well-compensated. He folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. That night, Lily brought home a permission slip. Field trip, museum. They need a signature, she said. He signed it without reading. Dad, she said quietly. Yes? Are we different now? Different how? People talk to me more. Some kids say my dad is famous. He winced. I'm not. They say you're rich. I'm not. She crossed her arms. You gave $10 million. Yes. That's rich, she said flatly. Ethan rubbed his face. It's complicated. Everything you say is complicated, she muttered. He laughed softly. Fair. She climbed onto the couch beside him. I don't want you to change. I won't. But you might, she said. Everyone else did. He didn't answer right away. The change came quietly, the way most real things do. A neighbor stopped saying hello. Another started inviting them over. A parent who once avoided him now asked for advice. Ethan felt the weight of every interaction. Each one asked something of him, even if it didn't say so. Then the email arrived, from the woman who had laughed at the auction. Her message was brief, carefully written. She apologized for her behavior, explained she hadn't known, asked if they could talk. Ethan stared at the screen for a long time. He showed Lily that evening. She laughed at you, Lily said. Why would you talk to her? Because people don't learn if you don't let them, he said. She considered this. "Do you forgive her?" "I don't know yet." He agreed to meet her. Public place, cafe near the school. She arrived early, sat stiffly. When Ethan walked in, she stood too fast, nearly knocking her chair over. "Thank you for coming," she said. He nodded and sat. She folded her hands. "I embarrassed myself." "Yes," he said. She flushed. "I didn't know who you were." "I know." "That's not an excuse," she said quickly. I made assumptions." "Yes." She exhaled. "You could have said something." He looked at her. "Why would I?" She blinked. "I didn't need your approval, and correcting you wouldn't have changed what you thought." She swallowed. "I was wrong." "Yes." She nodded slowly. "I'm sorry." He believed her, or at least he believed she meant it now. "I accept your apology." Her shoulders sagged with relief. As he stood to leave, she asked, "Are you going to do more?" "More what?" "More public things," she said. He paused. "I don't know." She nodded. "I hope you do." Ethan walked home thinking about that, about the foundation, the expectations, the quiet pressure building around him. That night, after Lily fell asleep, he opened the drawer and took out the letter. He read it again, slowly. Then he turned it over and wrote one sentence on the back. "I am not interested in being seen. I am interested in things being better." He mailed it the next morning. 2 weeks later, the library opened. No ceremony, no speeches, just doors unlocked. Children walked in and sat on the floor, flipping pages. Lily found her favorite corner and waved him over. "Dad," she whispered, "it smells like books." Ethan smiled. "That's how you know it's real." But as he watched the room fill, he felt it again, that quiet shift, the sense that something else was beginning, something he hadn't planned for.
The first article appeared online 3 days after the library opened. It wasn't dramatic, no flashing headlines, just a human interest piece buried between local politics and weather updates. Anonymous donor funds new school library. The photo showed a group of children sitting on the floor, Lily among them, her face half turned away from the camera. Ethan was not in the frame. He should have felt relieved. Instead, he felt exposed. At work, his supervisor printed the article and left it on the break room table. No note, no comment, just paper. Ethan folded it and put it in his bag. The city felt smaller after that. People didn't ask directly, they hinted. Invitations came wrapped as favors, meetings disguised as coffee. "You should meet someone I know. You could really help this cause. We're doing something similar, you'd be perfect." Ethan declined politely, repeatedly. The pressure didn't come from greed. That would have been easier. It came from expectation, from the belief that once you stepped forward, you owed something to everyone watching. The foundation called again, this time a different voice, softer, more careful. "We respect your desire for privacy," the man said, "but you have influence now, whether you want it or not." "I don't want it. You already have it. You just get to decide how it's used." Ethan hung up without answering. That night, Lily sat at the kitchen table, drawing. She had started spending more time there lately, less in her room. "What are you making?" Ethan asked. She slid the paper toward him. It was a building, tall windows, shelves, a small stick figure holding a book. "That's the library," she said, "and that's me." He smiled. "Where am I?" She added another stick figure, smaller, off to the side. "Here." "Why so far away?" he asked gently. She shrugged. "You're always watching, not inside." Ethan looked at the drawing longer than necessary. The next week, the school announced a fundraiser dinner. Formal, tickets expensive, proceeds going toward expanding the arts program. The principal called again. "We would love if you attended. No pressure, but your presence would help." "Help how?" asked Ethan. "People pay more when they feel inspired." Ethan closed his eyes. "I don't inspire people." "You do. You just don't perform." He agreed to go, for Livy. The dinner was held at a downtown hotel. Chandeliers, white tablecloths, quiet music that felt practiced. Ethan wore the same suit he had worn to the auction. Clean, simple, slightly outdated. Lily wore a navy dress and sneakers she insisted were comfortable. As they entered, heads turned, not with laughter this time, with recognition. People smiled, nodded, made space. It felt worse. They were seated near the back. Lily swung her legs beneath the table. "Everyone's staring," she whispered. "They're just curious," Ethan said. "I don't like it," she said. "Me neither." Midway through the evening, a speaker took to the stage, a local philanthropist, well-known, well-loved. She spoke about generosity, about community, about responsibility. Then she paused. "We are fortunate," she said, "to have among us tonight someone who reminded us what true giving looks like." Ethan felt his stomach tighten. She looked directly at him. "Would you stand?" she asked. The room went silent. Ethan stayed seated. Lily looked up at him, confused. The woman smiled, thinking he hadn't heard. "Mr. Hale." Ethan rose slowly, every movement deliberate. Applause followed, polite, expectant. He nodded once and sat back down. The woman continued, unfazed. "Thank you," she said, and moved on. But something had shifted. Later, near the dessert table, a man approached him. Expensive watch, easy confidence. "You could do a lot more if you wanted." "I already have," Ethan replied. The man laughed softly. "You're wasting potential." Ethan met his eyes. "Or protecting it." The man tilted his head. "You think hiding makes you pure?" "I think choosing matters," Ethan said. The man's smile thinned. "People like you always say that, until they realize the world doesn't change unless you step into it." Ethan turned away. On the drive home, Lily was quiet. Finally, she said, "They wanted you to be something else." "Yes." "You didn't." "No." She leaned back against the seat. "I'm glad." He glanced at her. "Why?" "Because if you were like them," she said, "you wouldn't be you." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He lay awake thinking about his father, about the money that had come with silence, about the years he had spent doing nothing with it, afraid that using it would turn him into someone else. The next morning, he woke with a decision. He called the foundation back. "I'll do one thing, on my terms." They listened. He proposed a trust, quiet, local, no press, no boards filled with strangers, focused on access, libraries, trade schools, community spaces. No names, no ceremonies, just doors opening where there had been walls. There was a pause on the line. "That's not how we usually operate," the man said. "I know. That's why I'm calling." They agreed to consider it. Weeks passed. The attention faded slowly. People found new stories, new faces. The trust was approved. Smaller than it could have been, stronger than it looked. Ethan signed the papers in a bare office, alone. Life settled into a new rhythm. Work, school, evenings at the kitchen table. But something lingered. Not pressure, responsibility. One afternoon, as Ethan waited outside the school, a boy approached him. younger than Lily, nervous. "My mom says you gave the books," the boy said. "I helped," Ethan replied. The boy nodded. "I like the library." Ethan smiled. "So do I." As the boy ran off, Ethan felt it. Not pride, not relief, but something quieter. A sense that the story wasn't about money at all. It never had been.
The letter arrived on a Tuesday, folded once, slipped under their apartment door. No logo, no return address. Ethan noticed it when he came home from work, boots still on, shoulders tired in the familiar way that came from lifting more than pipes and wires all day. Lily was at the table, doing homework. "Mail?" she asked. "Looks like it," he said. He opened it carefully. Inside was a single page, handwritten. It thanked him, not for the money, for the library staying open late, for the books that didn't disappear after the cameras left, for the quiet room where a kid could sit without being asked who their parents were. It was signed with a first name only. Ethan sat down slowly. "What is it?" Lily asked. "Someone read," he said. She smiled. "Good." Life did not change in big ways after that. No headlines followed, no interviews. The city moved on like it always did. But smaller things shifted. The library stayed full. The trade school down the street added night classes. The old community center reopened with new windows and better lights. People didn't know who paid for it. They just used it. Ethan kept working maintenance. Same hours, same route, same quiet nods to people who still didn't know his name, and he liked it that way. One evening, months later, Lily came home carrying a paper bag. "Guess what?" she said, breathless. "What?" "I got the scholarship." He froze. "What scholarship?" "The one from the trust," she said, "for summer programs. Miss Carter nominated me." Ethan felt a tightness in his chest he hadn't expected. "You didn't tell her," Lily added quickly. "I swear, she said it was anonymous." He nodded, unable to speak for a moment. Lily watched him carefully. "Is this weird for you?" "Yes," he said honestly, "but in a good way." That summer, Lily spent her days in the library, helping younger kids read. She came home smelling like old paper and sunshine. Ethan watched her from the doorway once, kneeling beside a boy who struggled with words, her finger tracing the page patiently. That night, he dreamed again, not of his father this time, of himself, younger, sitting alone on a school floor, pretending not to care that the shelves were empty. He woke with a strange peace. Near the end of the year, the school held another auction, smaller, quieter, no rumors this time. Ethan attended anyway, sat in the back, Lily beside him. When the bidding stalled on a donated painting, someone laughed nervously. Ethan did nothing. A woman raised her paddle, then another. The painting sold. Lily leaned over. "You didn't do anything." Ethan smiled. "Exactly." On the way out, the principal stopped him. "I just wanted to say," she said, lowering her voice, "this place feels different now." Ethan nodded. "It should." She hesitated. "People still talk about that night." "I know." "They say you changed everything." Ethan shook his head. "No, I just reminded people what was already there." She watched him walk away, thoughtful. Years passed. Lily grew taller, louder, braver. Ethan grew older in quieter ways. The trust continued its work without fanfare. Doors opened, lights stayed on. One afternoon, Ethan found himself back in the gym where it had all begun. The same polished floor, the same banners, different faces. A new auction item was announced, a set of books donated by an unknown source. The crowd clapped politely. Ethan stood near the wall, unnoticed. A father sat nearby, his jacket worn, his posture careful. His daughter tugged at his sleeve. "Can we bid?" she whispered.
He shook his head. "We don't have that kind of money." Ethan stepped forward. He leaned down, spoke softly. "You don't need much, just enough to try." The man looked at him, surprised. "What if I can't?" Ethan smiled, just slightly. "Then someone else will help." The paddle went up. "Not 10 million, just enough." The girl smiled like it was everything. As Ethan left the building that night, Lily caught up to him. "Dad," she said, "do you ever regret it?" "Regret what?" "Not telling people who you are." He thought a moment. "No," he said, "because who I am isn't what they saw that night." "What is it then?" she asked. He looked at her, at the school, at the open doors. "It's this," he said, "staying." They walked home together, the city quiet around them. No one laughed, no one clapped, and that was exactly how it should be. Thank you for staying with this story until the end.